review this then. It's the LG turbowash 360. So this is going to cover quite a few models, but all these models will start with the model code F6V 10, and then after that there'll be a few more numbers. So this, for example, is the F6V 1009 WTSE. Right. If the door doesn't look right, you're correct, because it's the wrong door. And it's got the wrong door on it for filming purposes. In fact, even this is all wrong. This is from a much lower end non-turbo wash LG from the same time period, and I've taken off the cover for that. This is subsequently what it looks like underneath. It's white. No, the real door is here. Da-da-da. There we go. So that's actually what it looks like. But there's, of course, a problem. This is tempered glass, which to me is stupid. Why LG done this, I do not know. What was wrong with plastic? I suppose it's to give it a more quality feel, but unfortunately, many cases, this will shatter. Yeah, you hit it with something, and that's bye-bye from the door glass. I personally can't take it off because it is pretty much all glued into place. So, yeah, that's there to stay. So, for filming purposes, I took a door off a different machine that had a plastic guard and took the plastic guard off, which I could put back on later on, at a later point. Right, so it's going to look like this, but that does mean you can now see the actual physical action inside. You can a little bit with the tempered glass one. It isn't totally dark, but it ruins quite a lot of, you know, the viewing pleasure. So, no, left it off. Right, okay, so this is the basic turbo wash model, because it's the 9 kilo. There is a 10.5 kilo variant of it, and I think there's an even bigger version of that as well. So there we go. It comes with an A++, an A+++ minus 50% on the A+++ to D scale, which means it's 50% more efficient than the threshold value for A+++ wash machines. Of course, but this is the Eco 4060 version, which means it's got the new standard. So that is a new A++ minus 50%, not an all play A++ plus minus 50%, which would be an equivalent of A++ minus 20%. So this is actually an A++ plus minus 80% if you're going by the old scale. So it's super eco-friendly. So standard sort of kilowatt hours per usage is 0.83, but that's with the 10 kilo variant, 10.5 kilo variant. So it's going to be a bit less on this 9 kilo variant, which isn't bad on the Eco 4060. And the Cotton 60 is about 1.5 kilowatts, which is about right and about normal. Right, let's take a look then. So we've got tab, push down, behind there, we've got our drain hose, we've got our filter. No emergency door release though. But at least we've got a drain hose, which is nice. And then we've also got our sticker, reminding you to activate your guarantee with LG. Cool now. Right, so to open the door, place your hand around here somewhere. There's actually a little bit of a indentation on this side. So, hand there, and just pull towards you. Open it up, look. Can we see? Right, with it open up, you can see here. Got this channel here, that's where your hand goes. Then we've got this rubber here, which you pull against. There's your door clasp there. TurboWash 360 means you get 4 jets for a 360-degree immersive jet experience. One there, one there, one there, one there. Also, the machine directly fills from the detergent drawer through here. It doesn't go theoretic like the sump or anything like that. So all your powder and everything and your softener goes directly onto the load, which is nice. It doesn't waste it. Weirdly, though, other LGs, you have a hole here that goes down and then goes back into the machine, but they've done away with it. That could be because of reliability issues, which on the ones where you do have this return little hole, it normally breaks and causes leaks. Right, took a look at the drum. We've got these speed bumps, as I like to call them. And we've got our bubbles, drum pattern, speed bumps, speed bumps. If I spin the drum by hand, when it comes to the stop, it kind of rocks a bit. If I do a little bit like that, can you see it's doing that? And this is because it's got a AI direct drive. Not an ordinary direct drive, an AI one. But effectively, all I actually think it is, it's got these Centium balancing balls somewhere in there. So it's effectively using them instead. But it's still a traditional build, so it's still got normal couple of dampers at the bottom, springs at the top, and the tub's normal. But if it's got that, that means it should balance the load every single time. And to be also fair, I've not known it to not spin yet. Yes, it does feel like there's the, the Centium's balancing balls that counteract unbalanced loads. Right, take a look at the top. We've got our programs and our option buttons at the top. What I like about it, actually, as daft as it seems, is that this is top of the range, and yet they haven't overcomplicated everything. So, yeah. The lower ones get less programs and options, whereas the upper ones get more programs, more options, a downloadable cycle and stuff like that. Except it's still pretty much the same design, so it's quite a clean looking design. No touch screens on this or anything, but still got everything. Right, turn it on. Classic LG jingle. Ready to select a program. You can select spin only from this point as well, for example. But anyway, if we want to select a cycle, we'll start off with cotton, max load of 9 kilo. You've got your variable temperature here, and you can have obviously from cold 20, 30, 40, 60 and 95 on cotton. Max spin speed is 1600 or 1560 according to LG, which it is. But we've also got variable spin. We've got no spin, which cancels the final spin. And then obviously 400, 800, 1000, 1200 and 1600 RPM final spin speeds. Then we've got our options down here. Right, well then we've got our options down here. We've got steam. If you press it, it will inject steam onto the load, removing allergens. It presets the temperature to 60 and it can't be changed. Right, we've also got turbowash, which reduces the spin speed, which is going to reduce the final time. It also shortens the wash, etc. like that. Doesn't really reduce that much though in time, I don't think. I don't actually entirely know, because the trouble is it has these 3 dashes. It won't give you the time until it's weighed the load. Unfortunately, you won't know what the time's going to be until you've loaded it up and pressed start. Right. Then we've got pre-wash, which is unselectable with steam. There we go. You can set it without steam, which adds a sort of a 10-15 minute pre-wash, but at cold it doesn't heat it. Also we've got delay end, and it is the end of the cycle, which is really bizarre because he hasn't weighed the load yet. So how can you delay the end for 3 hours if the cycle says it's going to be 3 hours 25, which it is on Eco 4060. Anyway, you can delay the end of the cycle up to 19 hours. We've got Wi-Fi as well, and we've also got remote start, and we've got add item. But add item's only going to be selectable once you've already started the wash. Right. You've also, if you notice here, we've got these little asterisks, right, and then it says wrinkle care, rinse plus. If you want to select, say, wrinkle care, you have to press and hold the button for 3 seconds. And then this little LED corresponds to say you've set it. So we can have wrinkle care, which adds on quite a considerable amount of time, but it's there to reduce creasing. But weirdly, you can still set up to 1600 RPM for some reason. Then we've got rinse plus, which just adds on an extra rinse. Then we've got intensive, which lengthens both the wash and the rinses. And then if you just tap it, you'll get the pre-wash. Tap it, get the turbo wash. Tap it, you'll get steam. Yeah? Then we've got Wi-Fi, which can be set up, and you can connect your LG washer to your Wi-Fi. Then we've got remote start as well. Same thing, once you set it up to the Wi-Fi and then you select the remote start, you can start the cycle and everything, and all the programs and everything, from your phone. Although I'd like to see if I can connect the Wi-Fi to my phone as a hotspot. Because every other washing machine I've had so far hasn't been able to do that. Hopefully, being a fairly modern machine, I'm hoping that this one will. But I've never tried it out. So there we go. Right, then we've got Eco 4060, which is your standard energy program for the machine, which then gives you your energy rating, your spin performance, and your washing performance. Typically on these cycles, they do spin for a bit longer on the final spin to try and get that better spin grade. But essentially what it does, it washes at a lower temperature for a lot longer of the clothes you put inside, and subsequently it saves a lot of energy compared to a normal cotton 40 or normal cotton 60 cycle. So likewise, temperature you can have 40 or 60. You can add steam, you can add a turbo wash, you can add a pre-wash, you can have wrinkle care, you can have rinse plus on it, and you can have intensive, which is quite surprising really, that this is an Eco 46 program and you can have intensive. Bit of an odd one really, especially as you don't need to select intensive to get your energy rating. Right, turbo wash 39. Yeah, this is where it's at. So basically, it says in the manual that it uses 4 jets to wash and rinse, a half load or 4 kilogram load of lightly soiled laundry in 39 minutes. But them jets will work on pretty much every cycle, regardless whether you've got turbo wash switched on or not. Likewise, turbo wash can't be selected, it's automatically selected. You can select steam, which also presets the cycle to 60. You can have wrinkle care, which adds on half an hour. You can have rinse plus as well, which adds on 12 minutes. You can have a pre-wash, but you can't have intensive, which makes sense. Anyway, variable temperature wise as well, you can go from cold, 20, 30, 40, 60, which adds on around 20 minutes to the wash. If I do that, I'll go. And it presets the spin speed to 1200. If I select 1600, it adds on 3 extra minutes. And likewise, if we go lower, ooh, interesting, you can't have no spin. Interesting. Then we've got mixed fabrics. Allows you to wash a half load, 4 kilogram load of mixed colours, and synthetics and cottons. It presets the spin at 1,000, but you can go away to 1,600. And presets the temperature to 40. But likewise, you can go to 60. And likewise, you can have all the options too. If you're wondering what the cycle length is around, it's around about an hour 50 at 60 degrees. I think it's about an hour 30 at 40 degrees. But interestingly, if you go for Easy Care, which is also made for 4 kilograms, it presets the spin at 1600 RPM. Again, temperature can go up to 60, so mixed load is not that far off. Where the difference changes though is that Easy Care is a much longer cycle. But likewise, you can still have every option going. So realistically, the only true difference is about half an hour in washing, since the limitations are exactly the same. Then we've got Silent Wash, which allows you to wash half a load of cottons or whatever quietly, apparently. What it does, it turns the beeper off. Yeah, I'm not kidding, that's all it pretty much does, because once you select spin, it only takes up to 1,000. Temperature can go up to 60. Silent Wash takes around, again, about an hour 20, 30, 40, something like that, depending on the size of the load, depending on the temperature. There is no pre-wash available. Apart from pre-wash, you can have all the options too. And we've got Allergy Care. Now this allows you to wash half a load of cottons in, to be honest, fair, it takes about 3 hours to do, 2.5 to 3 hours. It presets the steam, you can't switch it off. Temperature is max set to 60. Spin speed, you can have anything you want, but it's preset to 1600, being a cotton cycle. There's no wrinkle care. There's no turbo wash. There's rinse plus. There's no pre-wash because steam's on. But you can have intensive as well. Like I said, it normally takes about 2 and a bit. When I use it, it's 2.5 hours, so I don't think necessarily you're going to want anything longer than that. Right. Go around to here. Delicates. Max load, 3 kilograms. Washes with a higher water level. And stuff like that. Wash with a high water level. Presets to 20. And presets the spin to 800. Of course, you can go up to 40 if you wish. Spin speed maximum is 800, and to be honest, quite a short spin as well. Obviously, no steam. No wrinkle care. Turbo wash lowers it by 15 minutes. Rinse plus adds on 11 minutes. No pre-wash. But there is intensive. I would say it adds on 19 minutes, but it adds on 16. See what I mean? Intensive facts the rinse. But you can have turbo wash and intensive added together, in which case intensive adds on 13 minutes. Turbo wash actually affects the rinses as well, so there you go. Yeah, it affects the length. Intensive is So if you have a normal cycle with intensive, they're quite long. If you have the normal cycle, they're medium. And you have turbo wash, they're quite short. But if you add on intensive with turbo wash, it still does the short version of the turbo wash rinses instead, and just lengthens the wash cycle. Then we've got hand wash / woolens, max load of 2 kilograms. Presets at 30, but we can go up to 40. Max bin of 800. It uses an even more gentler cycle to wash the woolens. No turbo wash. Rinse Plus, which adds on just 5 minutes. No pre-wash. Makes sense, it's a wool program. But we can have intensive, which adds on, well, we'll say 10 minutes. I think it's actually 8. Yeah, it's 7 minutes. 10 minutes. No, it is 10 minutes. Right. So Sports Bar allows you to wash. It doesn't actually state in the manual, and there's nowhere to find this information. But I'm going to guess it's going to be 3 kilograms of man-made fibres. Bit like a delicate program, basically, because the timings are pretty much very similar, and the spin speed is very similar. And all the options are pretty much similar. See? You have turbo wash. It's a whole 1 minute longer, shorter than delicates. How about that, eh? Although adding extra rinse added on 15 minutes? We're intensive? Yeah, only 6 minutes. Alright. 8 minutes with rinse plus only. Interesting. Then we've got speed 14. Again, turbo wash is automatically added. It presets to 20 degrees. Although according to the manual, it heats to 23 degrees on 20. Bizarre. But you can have up to 40, and indeed it will heat to nearly 40. Interestingly, you can't have cold, so you can't switch off the heater. Interesting. Anyway, spin speed wise as well, if you notice, it presets at 400, but weirdly you can go all the way to 1600, which is pretty neat. You can have turbo wash, you can add on extra rinse as well. Can we have intensive? No, we can't. Can we have pre-wash? No, we can't. Can we have steam? No, we can't, because it's too cold. Can we have wrinkle care? No, we can't. So, we can have turbo wash, which is already pre-selected, but we can have rinse plus, which is neat. We can have up to 40 degrees, which is neat. We can have 1600, and it makes it a 29-minute program. That's not bad. Max kilo is 2 kilograms of lightly soiled laundry. But that's not bad, actually. 29 minutes, 40 degrees, 1600 spin, 3 rinses. I think it's 3 rinses at this point. Yeah, that's quite good. And we've got duvet. Again, no information anywhere about it in the manual, because it's based on the washer dry version for some reason as well. Yeah, it presets at cold. Come on, LG. I expect at least 40. And the max temperature is 40, unfortunately. We've got spin speed up to 1000. Now, this adds more water to the wash and rinses. It does work fairly okay. So, it's not bad. No steam, but there will be wrinkle care. Let's see. There's wrinkle care. Nope. You can have turbo wash, which is pretty neat. So it loses 22 minutes. And we've got rinse plus as well. And we've got intensive, I think. Have we got intensive? Yeah, so we've got intensive, which isn't bad as well. That's pretty neat. Then we got top clean. It just says TCL, and when you hit start, it will actually come up with a time. I'm sure it comes with a time. Is that right? Right. If you're wondering why it's trying to weigh the load, that's because what it's trying to do is, if there's a load in, it'll abort it. It'll abort the entire cycle. Because you're not supposed to put any washing in with the tub clean cycle. Now, of course, if you put one item in, it's not going to detect it. So, but if you were to put a full load in, it will. And it will just abandon the cycle. Anyway, there's no temperatures or spin speeds. However, the temperature runs quite hot. And the spin, it does still do a spin at the end. I think it spins at 800 or something. So there you go. That's your tub clean cycle. It's 72 minutes, which is a downside shorter than the old tub cleans on the older LGs. It's not bad for an hour 12, I suppose. Obviously, there's going to be no options with it whatsoever. Right. And we've got download cycle. It presets with rinse and spin. 1 minute followed by the cotton's final spin. Add rinse plus, and you can have 2 rinses and final spin instead. And we can put on wrinkle care. Now, what we can also do via the LG app is download cycles. Now, I've done this on the older LG turbowash I've got, which I'll have to do a review on at some point. And that uses the NFC. I think this, I'm not sure if this has NFC as well as the Wi-Fi. But that being said, if there was NFC, it would be there, if it's anywhere. However, because it's got Wi-Fi, I'm pretty sure it would be Wi-Fi only version, which is quite annoying, since the NFC versions never break. So, whereas the Wi-Fi versions are incredibly hard to get to work. Right, but then download the cycles. There's going to be quite a few on the LG site. I think there's a good 12, 14 of them or something like that. A lot of them are just renames of other cycles. For example, I think there's a baby cycle, and realistically I think that's an allergy care just renamed. Some of them are just other cycles but with different limitations. So for example, you might be able to download a cycle and it'll be based on a delicates, but it only limits it to 30 degrees and 400 spin and stuff like that. There's the darks and the gene cycle, which is exactly the same cycle. And then there's stuff where you might download it and have options preset with it. Stuff like that. That's exactly what the download cycle does. It allows you to pick what you want and program it in. Right, let's load up. I'm going to put a handful of items in. I'm going to show you quite a lot of things this machine has. Now, so we have our pre-wash section here, which takes about 50 ml of powder at most. We've got our main wash compartment there, which will take around 200 ml of powder. And we've got our fabric softener, which has water in it already. Obviously, don't go beyond the maximum. We have this push tab here as well, so we can remove and clean our drawer periodically, which this is due for doing. So we're going to select the cotton program, turbo wash it, 1600 spin, turbo wash at 40. What to give this out of 10 then? Well, there's a couple of problems. Number one, the rinsing ability. It's alright with smaller loads, but once you put full loads in, it comes a bit poor. Certainly doesn't use enough water on the rinsers then, at times. It does a lot better, rinsing wise, than say the non-turbo wash or the turbo wash without the 360. It does a lot better than that. However, it's not up to my standards. It's very quick at washing. I love it actually. It is really quick at washing. The washing ability is really good actually. The spinning ability is really good. Reliability. Yeah. You see, the problem is this came to me with an error code. Except the error code never came up. In fact, the error code, if you read up on it, is more a case of just unplug it, leave it, try again. But that's a problem. You see, if you've got a washing machine that's continuously giving you error codes and you have to switch it off and let it reset, it wastes time, it wastes your day. And that's not great. Also, it kind of shows you how fragile the PCB is. And yeah, not good then. Other reliability issues, actually to be fair, I think that's the only one. I think the bearings go, but not on these. Tempered glass shatters if you're not careful. Bit of a stupid idea, I think, from LG. Yes, okay, you got tempered glass phones, LG, but you don't need to put it on your washing machine. You just don't need it. I haven't really used the downloader cycle, so I don't know exactly how to comment on that. Or whether Wi-Fi works or anything like that. You have a beeper and you have a child lock as well. You have your direct drive, which has been on, it says 10 years. Nowadays they come up with 20 years stickered on them for the exact same sticker. Because to be fair, like I said, direct drives are not, you can't break them. Well, certainly not the coils anyway. Let's put it that way. The actual motor itself doesn't break. It's usually the Hall sensor. It's very rare it'll go to earth. If it does, sometimes it's usually caused by water leaks, such as the bearings gone or whatever. That can take out the motor. So, in that case, yeah, you can get a free motor from LG to replace it, if LG fit it. Not sure about that. Why can't I fit it? Anyway, I'm going to give this 8.5 out of 10. It certainly does a lot better than its lower LG counterparts, but of course it carries a bigger price. I think these retail for around £900, with the bigger load capacities being £1,000 and £1,100, etc. I think it does carry the ball system that uses on like the Centums. Realistically, this is going to have a Centum facility, and nothing could be changed. Nothing would need to be changed over. And I guess that's the only thing kind of missing is the Centum, or the bigger 11 kilo capacity. But that being said, I do rather this than the Centum. They're very clever, the Centums, but they also, you know, can take a while to balance the load. Yeah. So there you go. Alright, hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to give me a like. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't done already. Don't forget to comment down below. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this machine, whether you agree with me or don't agree with me. Also, if you've got anything wrong, or just not mentioned something, just let me know as well down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another review, or a wash race, or whatever's next. I think it's a testing video if I upload this in the right order. Bye for now.